This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
So Blake, we're in the wrong place. Welcome to the Scarif podcast, everybody. And excuse us if we say scuttlebutt a lot or just butt, that happens around here. So we're going to talk a little news tonight, and then we're going to we're taking over and we're going to interview Chantel and Ro right here on their own podcast. And I think you're muted there, Blake.
There we go. Sorry, I thought I clicked unmute. Yeah, so we're experienced, Andrew, just hosting someone else's show for a change. I don't want to do it injustice.
Yeah, no, I mean, I started to I felt like I should go find me a Hawaiian shirt to wear tonight, or Rose always got the cool hats he wears when he does this, but.
Well, I'm not showing up in a Catwoman outfit, so don't bet on that.
What's going on, everybody in the chat tonight? We got a great group already over here in the chat. Man, we got a lot of people in here. Lunar Girl's here, Dragon Buddy, Vader Rapina, Hectolorian, the Sith Care Bear. Let's see, who else? There's got to be Charles Westcott is in here. I wonder if Pat's there with him. Let's see. Chantel's in the chat, but she's going to be here in a moment. And the Backyard TARDIS, Nick, what's going on tonight? But so how you doing tonight, Blake?
I'm doing good, man. Just a lot of running around for a Saturday, but now settled in and ready to talk some Chantel and Rose, some news. We got a bunch on the docket. How are you, Andrew?
I'm doing good. It's been a day. I'm still playing the role of only parent in the house, and it's been an adventure.
I get that.
So, the kids are having to wait till after Scarif Live for dinner, so.
Well, I hope you're not on the East Coast.
No, we're Central Time, so it's not that bad.
Good.
All right. Well, let's see. Are we going to bring Ro and Chantel in to talk news, or are we going to talk news without them?
I don't know. I think they should. Oh, there's she's coming for news, and there's Ro.
Hey, you don't want to wear the Catwoman costume? Why not? Why not? It's so comfortable.
Well, I'm not in shape anymore. I would wear it if it was about 7 years ago, maybe.
What's up, guys?
How's it?
Hey,
Not much. How are y'all doing tonight?
Welcome to Scarif Live.
Yeah.
Welcome to Scarif Live. I know it's a whole new experience for you guys.
It is. It's exciting. Look at all these people. It's, when you guys take over, we've got people in the chat in the double digits. When we take over, when we do the show, it's like 3 or 4 people. What the hell, man? We got to get you guys on more often.
All right.
Seems like
Blake, I'll let you take this first news item if you want to.
So we're going to talk a little bit about Netflix, about Disney. So it seems that the Netflix MCU shows, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, was there Punisher was in there as well. All those shows are going to be coming to Disney Plus, and some people may not feel great about that. It might tarnish the familyness, if you will, of the Disney Plus image. What do you think about that, guys?
I don't have a problem with it, honestly. So, and this is coming from somebody who was literally raised on Disney, and I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it does. I know we've had this discussion before, but it does kind of call into question what's the point of Hulu now? Like, I would have thought that they would have put the more adult stuff on Hulu and then left Disney as Disney. But at the same point, you acquired Fox. The Simpsons are on there. I've seen a couple of movies that I personally think shouldn't be on Disney Plus, but they're there. So I don't see what the difference is. Put it in a different hub, have a passcode or of some kind, and be done with it. I'm sorry. It's not like kids don't hear worse and see worse on their cell phones at school. You know what I mean?
Well, I was even watching Falcon and Winter Soldier today, catching up on that. I'd never finished it. I finished it today finally, and I mean it was pretty wordy as far as a Disney show.
That's what I'm saying. All those Marvel movies are on there.
Yeah, the Marvel movies. There's a lot of words said on Disney Plus that I think they're going more in the gory, because those shows are a little bit more gory than the MCU
They
movies.
certainly up the level in the
No, they do.
brutality area, but I think
And they're
I mean
intense.
there's some pretty intense sex scenes in those movies as well, in those shows as well, which I think is probably what's more in question.
Yeah.
Should be in more in question than this. And
And you
I
got to rip
think,
Eternals off of there.
yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of kind of ins and out. If Bob Iger were still in charge, this would never happen.
Probably not.
And I guess kind of the best arguments I've seen, one from I believe it was actually Adam from a certain point of view was talking about this, and the one real thing here is it was kind of nice having one streaming platform where I didn't really have to worry about what my kids would come across.
Right. I got you.
The other side of that, though, is that, and really the biggest argument I've seen kind of out there online from much bigger channels is, it was families. Disney was built on the backs of families and their wallets.
Sure.
And so in some aspect, this is sort of kind of turning on the people that built your product.
Yeah, I get that too.
I get that too. I was listening to Adam and Josh too on a certain point of view. I just finished up their discussion, and that was one of the news tidbits that they had. I've got Disney Plus. I also have Hulu, but for Disney Plus, the only thing that I watch there are like the Marvel stuff. Although I own most of it, so I can pop in a DVD or a Blu-ray. I watch obviously all the Star Wars stuff, but the Hulu stuff is. What do we watch on Hulu? We watch a lot of crime documentaries, and they are on Hulu. They had mentioned, and somebody just mentioned that what's the point of Hulu? I think they are two kind of different separate animals when you take that into consideration. I think the programming is is very different. There's a lot of documentaries on Hulu that you wouldn't find anywhere else. Besides movies, obviously you've got some of the older movies on Hulu, but Star Trek is going through the same thing as far as kind of cutting off the family friendliness of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I don't have kids of the age where I have to do any parental control.
That's the thing.
But I'm sure those tools exist on Disney Plus. And I know on Netflix you can have different profiles where if you go into a kid's profile, they won't even show you any of that other stuff that's rated a certain rating. So,
I mean, listen, I have nieces and nephews that are all under the age of 10. So I definitely understand the perspective of a parent. I would not want one of my nieces stumbling upon Daredevil or Punisher through Disney Plus, because chances are that is like all they watch is Disney Plus. So I completely understand. I see both sides of it. It's just for me as a single person with no children, my automatic thought is, what's the big deal? You put codes on it, you'd create a different hub, separate profiles. But I get it. It's true. Disney has always been about families.
Right.
And I've got young kids, and the Disney profiles for kids don't let you watch a lot of stuff. It actually even censors some of the Muppet movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Which is funny. Yeah, I was trying to watch one of the Muppet movies with my kids and had it on their profile, and I couldn't find it, and we went and found it on my profile.
Yeah.
So they do have that tool where kids can't get into things that they shouldn't. So if you have those things in effect, then I'm kind of with Shanti. Well, why not put it on Disney Plus? Because those shows go with the MCU, and all the other MCU stuff is on Disney Plus. So I see why they want to put it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think you're going to see Hulu go a different direction. It's already their live TV hub.
Right.
That's what's making the real money over there now anyway.
Right.
Is that they're a live TV provider. They have a few good anchor shows. I think you will continue to see they'll continue to post next day re-airs of all of the ABC and all of the Fox stuff.
2020. Love those shows.
They're probably going to continue picking up some live sports. So I think Hulu is just kind of changing.
Ro.
Sorry, Ro. I know it's sports ball, but I think that's kind of the direction that Hulu's going. That it's just, I mean, they've got a few good anchor shows. I think the Orville will stay there. That's where Always and Sunny lives now. They've got a few really good anchor shows, and it's just going to kind of be its own thing. And Disney Plus, I mean, I think Disney Plus, I still think they're mostly interested in creating original content for Disney Plus. I think they're just mostly trying to figure out what to do with the back catalog.
Yeah.
Right.
Nick has an interesting comment there, and it stems from way back when they put Splash on there. There was this little controversy where they blurred out, or they extended the hair of Daryl Hannah as she was running into the ocean, so you wouldn't see her scuttlebutt.
Because kids have never seen their own ass before.
Right.
Whatever.
So
no, I mean they've done some odd edits, but that's across the board. That's all the streaming services have been guilty of going in and messing with stuff like that. As far as editing, they could edit out the nudity. I mean, those scenes aren't even needed. Those scenes were only in the show because they could do it.
Right.
They don't help the show in any way, shape, or form. So edit them out. I think it's I think that's fine. If you go, some of the streaming services have been guilty of going in and editing out shots and whole episodes of things that are sort of critical to story, and I don't like that. But I mean, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I mean, there's scenes in a whole lot of movies that I didn't know existed until I had the DVDs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. So we'll see. I think it was on Certain Point of View when I think Adam said, "What's the point of Hulu then?" But like I said, I still treat them as two separate animals. There's if I want to go to one product, I'll go to Hulu. And it wasn't really till recently that I realized that it was owned by Disney. It didn't connect. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
And Hulu too, with their live TV, if you have their live TV plan, it opens up a lot of different movies too, even stuff that isn't Disney. So that's a big thing. You could watch. I remember the Transformers movies were on there at one time. Kingsman was on there. I think Kingsman's actually on Disney Plus. I read somewhere now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, they're getting access to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and so that's a really adult.
Yeah.
It's a really adult movie.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how the two channels evolve. And I mean, I do understand wanting to put that other Marvel stuff on there, especially now that we've expanded the MCU to say, this isn't like this Earth, but this stuff does exist within the MCU now. They found a sort of creative way to encompass all the old Spider-Man stuff, all the old X-Men stuff, the Deadpool stuff. So, I mean, because that's another one. I mean, this opens the door wide open for Deadpool on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm going to step away for 1 minute. My wife ordered sushi, and I got to give the guy a code thing. So I'll be right back.
Your code cylinder?
Code cylinders?
Help.
I don't know. Ro left in the middle of the show to buy sushi. I hope it's not gas.
I tell you what,
sushi.
when he lets people take his show over, he lets them take his show over.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wow,
that's crazy.
He's abandoned ship.
So, so I guess
Mutiny again. Mutiny.
So we'll. You can go on, Andrew.
No, I was gonna say we'll go on and jump into the other topic here. And let Ro catch up when he gets back.
Or we talk about Ro behind his back while he's gone.
It's true.
So, about all those caps, huh? A lot of hats.
They're really cool. I wear mine backwards because they're not as cool as his. That's the whole reason.
I mean, I could get my fedora down up there, but...
Oh, sweet.
It doesn't really work with the,
the headphones?
Hey, man, you got to get some of these fancy ones.
Get somebody to make me some headphones that are built into a fedora.
There you go. Oh, that would be cool.
Perfect.
That'd be great. That's a look.
So we're real off the rails here, but sorry everybody
Topic
in the
number
chat.
2.
But I do want to talk about this other topic. This is something that Ro pointed out before we got started here, but There's kind of some information going around out there that indicates that the Batman, the new movie that's out now, was originally slated to be a
He's back,
Ben
guys. He's
Affleck.
back.
Shh.
He's
Everybody.
back. Welcome, everybody. Thank you.
So there are apparently some rumors floating around out there, though, that the new Batman film, The Batman, was originally slated to be a Ben Affleck Batman film. And I do want to see, like, I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet. Like, you know,
Me neither.
I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing me complain about not having a theater within 90 miles, but it's still true.
I was yesterday years old when I realized that not everyone has 7 theaters within a 3-block radius.
So eventually I will see this movie. But, you know, right now it's like I've got 3 kids and don't think I'm going to take the 3 kids with me to go see it.
That's right. I'm right there with you.
But what do y'all think about the fact that this, like, knowing what you know, because I'm assuming that Ro and Chantel have seen, y'all both seen the movie, correct?
Right. Yeah.
He's
What do
seen
you
it at each
think
of the
about
theaters around
this?
his house.
Like, what do you think about the idea that this could have been a Ben Affleck film?
I'm glad it wasn't.
Well, other than that, I don't think it would have worked. I mean, Ben Affleck is an older actor versus you know, the actor that we got. Especially in the time frame of where this story is being told, you know, a year to Batman. I don't think, you know, unless they do some sort of flashback, unless, I don't know. I don't know. Somebody said that somebody was talking about how Ben Affleck was writing another movie, and I don't know if they were going to go the route of what is it, Old Man Batman, and doing some sort of flashbacks or something.
But here's the thing: Old Man Batman should have been Bruce Campbell, right? Like,
Right.
that's the perfect Old Man Batman, right?
I would have
Yeah.
dug that.
Well, I know Shanti's going to be mad at me, but I kind of like Ben Affleck as an older, grizzled Batman. I don't know.
I mean, I can see that. Yeah.
Like
I
he's,
didn't
he's
love
world
that
weary.
take. I didn't love that take on Batman. He was an excellent Bruce Wayne.
That's my
Yeah.
problem.
Well, right. Yeah, he was a good Bruce Wayne. You're right.
But that was a very different take on Batman. It's sort of the same reason that I'm not a huge fan of Man of Steel, which was this weird, dark, grim take on Superman, which, you know, I know that Superman at times, I know the character can be boring. I know that. I will readily admit that. But like to alter like that character that far from who he is, I always look at the stuff with Captain America and Superman, and, you know, two characters from sort of the same era.
Yeah.
And you know, Marvel said, yeah, we can do Captain America and we can do 1940s Captain America. Yeah, we can do that. It'll work. And DC said, no, we can't do, you know, early 20th century Superman. Doesn't work. Even though there's a lot of similarities, and you see the results. I mean, Man of Steel did fine, and it's liked by a lot of people, but there's a very, very steep divide between fans on that movie. And you don't see that with the Captain America stuff when they decided to stay loyal to who the character was.
Yeah, Nick has a comment in there that I put up. We're in another chat with some other folks, and they started talking about Man of Steel, and I think I was left alone because we were talking about Kevin Costner and his role, and I think most of the guys in that chat didn't like what happened to his character, but I was stuck alone. There's another guy named Andre who runs the man, it's blanking on his name, on his podcast name, but it's are you guys saying that Man of Steel is kind of divisive when it comes to that? Because I loved Man of Steel, and I loved I guess because I like the dark and broody superhero when it comes to stuff.
I just always thought that was the interesting dynamic between Batman and Superman.
Yeah, that they're opposites.
Well, and I like Man of Steel. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a big Superman fanboy. Me and Shanti were going back and forth on this like yesterday, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna duke it out afterwards.
I was going to say, and we may get back into it after this. But I like Man of Steel. I like the Superman who, I don't know, it just seems like at the end of the movie he had to do what he had to do, and he did it. And I think that's
Right.
might be a little different. And they
Are you talking about the end of that movie?
Yeah, where he.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess.
I mean, spoiler alert. We're gonna. Yeah,
spoiler
I mean,
alert. He
Go ahead. I'm
kills
never gonna watch it.
He kills General Zod. He breaks his neck, right? And that's something that Superman doesn't do, right? That's like one of the things he doesn't kill. But
I
don't know,
love that.
I think it's a super well made film. It's entertaining. It's just like when I sit back, like when I reflect on it and go, "It's that really Superman?" And I kind of felt that way about like Batman and Batman versus Superman. Was like
he's definitely more like
way over the top.
I think Snyder needs a Prozac.
Well, he's a lot like the new 52 Superman, though. The new 52 Superman's pretty gritty at times.
Yeah. No, I get that, but I mean, the new 52 has been a really divisive run of comics.
It has.
You know, in itself. So, my biggest problem with Man of Steel, when I look back at it, is Kevin Costner's character when he tells Clark that he should have let the kids on the bus die. And we're talking about the character that was supposed to have been the one that instills Superman's humanity in him. He's the one that gives Superman his human side.
What movie is what is this? Jeez. God.
Yeah, we should have got John Schneider as Jonathan Kent, I think.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he played him in Smallville. Did a great job.
But ultimately, that's the one thing that really kind of wrecks that movie for me.
Yeah. That is pretty dark. I can agree with that. I didn't care for his characterization much either.
All right, so I think we've.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not going to talk about how much I hate Zack Snyder and his movies. So everyone knows already.
You can come on
silence.
You can come on the science fiction area the next time that me and Daniel get into it about Zack Snyder. So.
Oh, perfect. Let me know.
Somebody else could come argue with Daniel for a change.
Sweet. I'm all in.
All right. So what we got next, Blake?
Man, I think it is time to interview our two guests that we have tonight on Scarif Live. You may not know these faces. They're pretty new to the game. They're definitely not here every weekend. We're here with Ro and Shanti. How's it going, guys?
Good. So this is almost going to be kind of like a reverse Sentry mode. We have a Sentry mode on our show where we ask our guests 5 geek questions and see how they do. But now the tables are reversed. So let's get ready to play Sentry mode amongst ourselves here.
This is Sentry Mode.
Question number 1. I don't know what question number 1 is. It's not my show tonight.
All right, Andrew, you want to start off with the questions?
I'll let you kick it off. But
Sure.
Also, do we have any questions from the chat while we're at this?
Yeah.
And I do. If there, I want to make a quick announcement. If there are any patrons in the chat, please use the word hashtag patron at the top of your question. We'll put it up front. Get ahead of the line. I was going to. Tonight I've got a couple of cool little Funko Pops. They're minis, which are really cool. I'm gonna give away 2 of them. Oh my god, this one is cute. Look at that. Hold on. It's the Mandalore. It's Mando with little Grogu.
How cute.
Look at the little Grogu.
It is cute.
Look at the little Grogu. So I'll give this one away, and I know Megan was in the chat. And was it she liked the IG-88 little bobblehead IG-88? I got 2 other ones, but I'll save those for another show. But they're just regular Mandos.
Ooh.
And these are half the size. They're smaller, which are really cool. somebody, I had posted a picture of them, and they're different colors, obviously, and they're like, why is it a different color?
Megan's back.
Megan's back. There you go.
She put her
Perfect.
students
Right in
the
time.
polls.
Yeah. So here are the two that we're giving away. So if you have any questions for Shanti and myself, please drop them in the chat as we go through tonight, and we'll pick a random winner, and I'll send those out. I love to give stuff out.
Awesome. Well, let's get started. Let's start with Ro. I'm going to ask you both this question, but I want to start with Ro.
Okay.
If you could be any character, switch places with any character in all of nerd culture, what character would you choose and why?
Yeah, I think
So I went to Ro first.
I'm sorry. I think that's pretty obvious.
For me, it's pretty obvious too, as I point to this guy back here. But it's funny because Darth Vader to me is one of my favorite characters in all of fiction, nerd category or not. Darth Vader, besides him looking cool, I just think he's a badass character. I think if I were Darth Vader, I think the Jedi would have been hunted down like that. I would not waste any time with Inquisitors. I would have gone full dark side and gotten rid of the problem to begin with. And probably, in no time also vanquished Palpatine myself and taken control of the universe, taken control of the galaxy. Because that's how powerful that I want Vader to have been, especially if I sat in his shoes there.
What are you so angry
awesome.
about? Jeez.
Ro was never hugged as a child, was he?
Oh, damn.
There's a line in Revenge of the Sith when Palpatine tells Vader, Anakin / Vader, I got to learn these freaking lines, man. Show no mercy. Let me get back to you there.
Awesome.
But I love that line.
But not enough to remember it.
Yeah, not enough to remember it.
I love
do what must be done. Do not hesitate. Show no mercy. I love that. Ugh!
Yeah.
Hug me now, damn it.
That's awesome, and that's going to actually come back on one of my questions later. I have one.
Therapy.
No, it's not about therapy, not yet. But I
No,
mean,
he
I know
needs
a guy.
therapy.
I know a guy.
Of course.
Shanti, why is your favorite character, or your character you want to switch with, Selena Kyle, Catwoman?
Well, besides the fact that she gets to play around with Batman, who I absolutely love. So there's that. What?
Shanti was hugged too much during her childhood.
Apparently by brooding strangers.
Yeah.
Especially because how she is in Batman Returns, because this was my first exposure to Catwoman. And because of the scene that I first saw her in, she's basically all the things that I wish I were, which is confident and sexy and badass, and and again, because she gets Batman. So
That's right.
that's why. She's just cool. And I
Yeah,
love the
and it-
costume. She has a whip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does take a bunch of feral cats to knock her out of a window for that to happen.
Yeah.
By the way. So she starts
Right.
out real
It's cool.
meek and mild, and then
Sounds
Yeah,
just like me. I
that's-
found her to be very relatable.
it's a scary scene for me. Tim Burton Batman. It was cool. That movie's awesome. I love Batman Returns.
Tim Burton is someone who needs therapy.
Yeah. But it's okay. He makes really good movies because of it.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh, man.
Even I'm willing to admit that. But yeah, that's why.
And Andrew, if you see any questions in the chat, point them out and I'll put them on screen.
Yeah, there's a couple I definitely want to grab here in a minute. But I have a question, the one I want to ask, because I want some insight into your fandom, the fandoms that you love, the things that aren't Star Wars. because I know you love Star Wars. So if you could only podcast about 3 other properties, franchises, IPs that are not Star Wars, what would they be? Chantel, I'll let you start on this one. Rose making a list.
Disney. Disney, because it's definitely probably what I know the most about, maybe off the top of my head. Next probably would be something Batman centric, because I just absolutely love him. And then what would be the third thing?
Yeah, I'm thinking of my third thing too.
Maybe anything having to do with horror. I just love horror very much. I'm such a morbid person, so if it has to do with horror, I'm all about it. So that's probably the third thing. The more morbid, the better. That's why I like Tim Burton so much, because he's odd and morbid. I am messed up.
Awesome. I see Joker Voice has joined the chat. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Joker.
What's up, Joker Voice?
Ooh.
Oh, is that really my number one though? I've got 3 on there. I just kind of grabbed that first one because it sounded right, but I'm not sure now. Can I go now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I would go Star Trek, Indiana Jones, and True Crime.
Ooh, I like that.
Interesting.
Since you watch some of the crime shows. That makes sense.
I thought the first 2 would be on there, but the third one is a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned, 20 when we were talking about Hulu, I mentioned 2020, and actually, I was, I did an interview with the governor of Illinois, and I was taking the mic off of him, and he came up to me and he says, "Remember that guy that confessed to a murder in the bathroom when he still had the microphone on?" And I said, "Yeah, that's funny. It's what was the story? The guy's name, he just died recently, but it was a true crime, story that I was watching with my wife, a documentary. Robert Durst, he just died recently. He confessed to murdering his girlfriend, and it was crazy, and then beheading her and all that stuff. So we were talking about all the stuff that we watch, and I mentioned 2020. I think it's, I don't know, it's a voyeurism type of thing. You kind of like get an insight to people's minds. I'm always flabbergasted at the brutality that man inflicts on other men, women, but man as a species, whatever. It's fascinating to me when you see the point of snapping.
Yeah.
And when people go beyond that, you've got people like Jeffrey Dahmer, and being in Chicago, we've got John Wayne Gacy and stuff like that. So it's interesting to me from a psychological aspect, and I think that's one of the reasons. We talked about Batman and how he has a dual personality. You've got Batman, the Dark Knight, dark detective on one end, and Bruce Wayne on the other, more analytical mind. But what is that grain of salt that is overboard, that last straw that makes you go in that direction, if you know what I mean? I find that fascinating.
By the way, I'm not going crazy. There is a gnat that is attacking me, and I'm trying to swat it away, and it keeps flying towards me. I can't get it, so just ignore me.
Do not let it knock you out of a window. It would suck to be gnat.
Yeah, I know. So. Oh my god.
But if you have cats, then it's okay.
All right, Blake.
So do we have any of these chat questions yet?
There's a couple of good ones in there.
Let's throw one up.
Let's see. Let's start with the first one I see here is there's a question from Charles at 7:34. There you go.
If you could bring one item from sci-fi into real life, what would it be?
Teleportation.
And
she would teleport away from that gnat.
I don't like flying.
I was going to say, I know Rose. I know what Rose already reaching for back there. Yep. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
And we just did an episode with Rob of Jedi Temple Archives regarding lightsabers. And, it's just a cool weapon. It is. It's an amazing piece of
I swear.
design.
It's in my face.
So
It's versatile.
I would definitely
It
do
is.
a lightsaber, for sure, without question.
I would pay money right now to see Shanti try to hit a gnat with a lightsaber. So
God.
She would need the Force. It's funny though, because if obviously my little world inside my head revolves around Star Wars. I don't know if there's anything from sci-fi other than Star Wars that I would bring into. I would have to kind of maybe go into the Star Trek realm.
I'm all in for teleporters.
Yeah.
Andrew could catch that movie.
Yeah.
Wanted to.
That'd be so much
Exactly.
easier. I could transport up to Chicago and watch a movie with Ro.
That would be
Exactly.
amazing. All right, I'm in teleporters.
That's the one I
Yep.
want.
All right. So do teleporters. That's great.
Scarif
I
Con will
guess-
be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Go sleep at your own house.
No TSA.
So that was a good question. Thank you very much, Charles Westcott
Thanks,
of
Charles.
the Converse.
Sir Charles.
All
So
right.
just above that, there's another question from Vader Rapina. Ro and Chantel, who is the one Star Wars character you'd want to spend a weekend hanging out with?
I like how Andrew
I was gonna
rephrased
say-
it.
Where is that?
Repeat it again.
Who is the one Star Wars character you'd want to spend a weekend hanging out with?
Garza Fwip. Duh.
Tell you what, Ro, that's your favorite character of all Star Wars. So is she rivaling Darth Vader at this point?
Well, for different reasons.
She definitely lights up his lightsaber. Anyway, I would go with. I'm gonna go with. I want to say Han Solo.
Yeah.
I want to say Han
sounds
Solo because
pretty
he's adventurous.
If you're in for unpredictable,
Yeah, I think that's why I like
Never
the
tell him the odds.
spontaneity of his character. Yeah. Plus, he hangs out with Chewbacca. I'll take him away from Leia. I want Han.
oh, he already left Leia though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, even better.
Oh,
There's a
Yeah.
30-year gap.
It's at
where
that
he's
point
not
that
even
even
involved.
better.
you can
Even
get Han
better.
during the sequel trilogy.
Perfect.
The scoundrel. So before we get any other chat questions, so I want to direct this one at Ro. So Ro, why did you start the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast? What really drove you to start talking about Star Wars and other geek stuff down the line on the internet?
So it's funny because I've always wanted to, since my participation on Twitter, obviously I've known of podcasts. I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. I'm in the broadcast field, so I've always wanted to talk about Star Wars or to have a podcast about Star Wars. The only difference is that I wanted to do it drunk, because I can really go off on tangents when I'm slightly inebriated. So I thought like Star Wars drunk talk would be fun. But I couldn't find anybody to do it with me. I met Brad on the internet, strangely enough, but we started talking about JFK and conspiracies and things like that, and that's another thing that I'm kind of interested in is John F. Kennedy, the legacy of his presidency and the man. And then all the kind of like the conspiracy stuff, obviously the Oliver Stone movie that came out. So all that funky stuff that we started talking about. But then we realized that not only were our birthdays like a day apart, I think his is the 5th and mine is the 4th on the same month. But we started talking about Star Wars and how much we loved Star Wars, and we started to compare notes. And at that time, Star Wars Celebration in Chicago in 2019 was happening, so it was a great opportunity for us to kind of ramp that startup process and kind of pin it on the tales of Star Wars Celebration here in Chicago. So I grabbed and we don't live near each other. He lives on the East Coast and I'm in Chicago. But we had a really great rapport, even online. and started the podcast. We wanted to be able to. I think back then, we were also on the tail end of all the arguing with The Last Jedi. And, we didn't like The Last Jedi, but we wanted to kind of enter the landscape and just talk about why we didn't like The Last Jedi, and not enter the landscape to start insulting people for not liking a movie. So we were kind of in that arena to try to, bring, I guess, responsible discussion to the Star Wars community through, just listening to other people and then just talking about what we like, what we don't like, but in kind of a civil situation. So that's kind of the impetus to starting the Scarif podcast. And then obviously, from there grew the idea to start the Red 5 network that, has similar objectives. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah, that actually goes into a question that I saw that Megan had asked for you. How did you come up with the idea of the Red 5 network? She kind of stole that from me. I don't think she read my notes. That'd be kind of hard. But I was going to ask you that along the line, but it's already here. You're already talking about it. So,
yeah, I mean, really, just to get a group of folks that liked talking about geek stuff in a way that isn't too isn't toxic, or however you want to call the term. We just love being nerds and talking about it. And one of the things that I could not have foreseen, besides the fact that we all like talking about nerd stuff, is the incredible amount of support that we have for each other and other content creators. I think that has really blown me away. We started out, the Red 5 Network started out with 9 or 10 pods. Some of them have gone on to other things, but most of them are still here. And from 10 pods, we are 33, is it? I think last count. So to me, it's amazing that, in a group that large, we are still kind of tightly knit. We always, people see the Red 5 family hashtag from time to time when we post our stuff. And it really is a family of content creators. And, I'm really proud of everybody for supporting each other. Not just, tooting your own horn, but supporting everybody else's content through participation like you guys are doing with us. And really, being in the live chats when other folks do their live shows and just kind of, rooting for them. I think it's amazing, and I think it's something that not only the internet needs, but I think the world needs a lot more of it too.
Yeah. That's the wonderful thing about the network. There's a lot of very differing opinions on a lot of different things within the network, but there's still encouragement. And our network is proof that you can disagree on these things and get along at the end of the day. Because, in the larger community, that doesn't seem to be the case.
that's right.
Yeah. What does Megan say?
Yeah,
Sort of interrelated, to go back, because Josh, Sith Care Bear, did ask a question. He was one of the first ones to drop a question in here. And I think this, while we're on this train of thought, sort of ties in. And he said, what is the end game? Is there a specific goal for the channel and network you hope to achieve? And if so, what comes after? Not only for Scarif, for Red 5, but for both of you as individuals.
World domination. It's funny. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a great question. And, we've been at it for 3 years, more or less.
Yeah.
And, it's a great question. Like I said, we started with 3. We started with 10. We are 33 plus. And I think there are like 3 other entities that are waiting just beyond the blast doors to come into Red 5, which I haven't had time to kind of tweak some stuff out. But I love the fact I don't know who I was talking to about this, but being on the inside, our timeline is just flooded with Red 5 stuff and support and everybody's posts. But I would love to see from the outside, like how people perceive the group as a whole. We're so entrenched in it that all we see is the stuff that we tweet at each other, for each other, with each other. So to me, it's interesting to see, folks like Megan, come up and chime in and support us. Obviously, Nick, who has been a amazing supporter of all of our podcasts. I don't know how the guy listens to, 175 podcasts a day. But, Vader Rapina, who follows the letter of the law. When I post something, he retweets immediately. So just friends like that kind of support everybody, and not just Scarif, but it's just kind of it's kind of a cool thing. It's something that humbles me. Obviously, because I kind of, between Brad and myself, we kind of gathered this little group of space pirates to do what we do. But it really pleases me to see the amount of support that everybody has for each other, and I'm here for it. If we can continue to grow this way, and if you can continue to support each other, I think we can kind of, change the world.
I feel like I already met my end goal by being part of Red 5, because my whole thing was just to find friends and to find people that I have stuff in common with. And I found that with Red 5. And one of my goals was to start my own podcast. I didn't want to do it on my own. I tried, couldn't stand listening back and hearing my own stuff and not having anybody to bounce off of. And then by sheer luck, I found Ro and Brad, and just like Rose said earlier, the rest was history. That's all I really wanted. It was just friends. And that's exactly what I found. So in terms of an end goal, that was my end goal, and it's been met. Like there really is nothing beyond this for me except trying to do my own stream, and that's about it. But it's not with the goal of anything else, to just connect with people. It's not about the fame. Look, if it happens, that's great. It's a win for all of us, but it means that means nothing to me. It's literally just hanging out with you guys.
Oh, Conan O'Brien just called for you.
Oh my God. I wish. I wish.
Oh, Blake, you came back. I was worried that my new co-host had abandoned me 45 minutes into our first episode. But
no, one of my co-hosts at my house, my daughter was screaming, so I went to go.
Oh no.
I went to take her to her mom. So, whoops.
So Ro, one of your patrons has more of a trivia question for you.
All right,
here.
let's put that up, and then tell me where is it, because I can scroll up and check it out.
748.
748. Let's see here. Thank you guys for joining us here. This is wonderful. 748.
It's good to get to know.
And who
Ro
is
and
it?
Chantel.
Okay, here you go. Nick?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Nick, for being a patron, first of all. And thank you for the question. Question for Ro. In Battlestar Galactica 1980, who is Dr. Z's father? That's my Sentry Mode question. Oh, my God. Dr. Z. I'm going to have to think about that. I think it was Starbuck, because they did kind of a weird timey-wimey situation when Starbuck left with that woman. Can't remember. Kind of remember them making the ship from spare Cylon and Viper parts, and they took off. So I think Dr. Z is Starbuck's offspring. I don't know, but we'll have to talk about that, Nick, when we do our Battlestar Galactica. I think it's going to have to be a double episode, because there's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah, so I didn't know I don't know the answer to that, so I tried to Google it real quick, and I got results for who is Dr. Zeus's father, which apparently was Theodore Geisel, Dr. Seuss himself. So yeah, that went weird. So Nick, you'll have to chime in here with the actual answer because apparently I can't Google it.
Oh, and then I wanted to. I think Megan's got a follow-up question regarding what I said. If I understand correctly, ScarifCon was begun on the idea of a fan-run Star Wars convention. Yeah, I mean, the first ScarifCon was in 2019, and we did it just as the first season of Mandalorian started. So we got the Chicago group together. Rob from Jedi Temple Archives lives in Michigan, so he drove down. But we had WSTR, we had a couple of other podcasters from Chicago, and we set up this little tent in a comic book outside a comic book shop. Alley Cats in Andersonville has a nice little patio outside, so we set that up. And our special guest was Yoshi Vu, who at the time had just finished working on The Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian. So we interviewed him and we just talked amongst ourselves. It was a freezing cold August. Was it August? No, it was November. And it was really cold, but we stayed out there for 3 hours. We didn't mind the cold. And then just talked about Star Wars and Mando and all the cool things. We wanted to have Dominic come the first year, but he was actually on his way to Los Angeles from New York, so he couldn't make that. But that's where ScarifCon came. And then obviously every year we try to have it. We've had it at the same location. This year we're having it at a different venue, and it's probably going to be, I don't know, 4 times as big. But I'm always surprised at who shows up. Last year, again, a humbling experience. Everybody showed up. This year, I think my head's gonna explode.
Damn.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to ScarifCon. I just got to figure out how to get to Chicago.
You were mentioning trains, huh?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Amtrak.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Trains, planes, and automobiles.
There's a station about an hour from here, and I can rent a room right now cheaper than I can buy a plane ticket. So
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, it's hard to sleep on the train.
yeah, I don't sleep on planes either. So yeah, it is what it is.
Oh, I'm the opposite. Fall asleep, and I can fall asleep anywhere.
I can fall asleep, 20 feet up a tree, but not in an airplane. I just about got choked up at your joke there, Chantel, about Starbucks, but
Stupid.
but Nicole has a question for all for both of y'all. If you were able to bring on one non-Star Wars celebrity onto the podcast, who would it be?
Conan.
I knew that. Like I didn't.
I feel like we already know Chantel pretty well.
I know. I was gonna say all the questions are for Ro. I guess I'm too
easy.
open.
You're saying because we
Hey,
already know her
whoa.
answers.
Not that easy. Dinner first.
Non-Star Wars celebrity onto the podcast. Who would it be?
Conan.
Oh man, I'd have to think about that. Because a non-Star Wars celebrity. I always say that I love interviewing people behind the scenes, because really that's really what got me into Star Wars. It wasn't about the spaceships and laser swords. As a kid, I was fascinated with the work that the men and women of Industrial Light and Magic did on the film. They created this environment out of nothing. They, with kit bashing and creating this used world, obviously under the direction of George Lucas. But I think, that kind of goes along the same line. We interviewed Yoshi Vu. He's a superstar visual effects artist. We also, Aubrey Eden Dukes. She's an artist that works at Disney, and she's the one that, all of our podcasts have been using the image of Gecko that she drew whenever we have Dominic Pace on. So I like interviewing people behind the scenes. We just had an interview with Brian Sipe, who is the makeup designer for Mandalorian and, the Star Wars streaming show, The Book of Boba Fett. So it's those types of celebrity, non-celebrities that I love talking to, because their work fascinates me, and it's an aspect of the creative force of filmmaking that I really that I gravitate to. So whether it's a Star Wars behind the scenes person or not, just anyone behind the scenes, I would love to just talk to. I mean, sound designers. There's these documentaries that I watched when I was a kid of Ben Burt tapping on an electrical high tension wire to get the laser sounds. So every time I walk past one, I'd go pew, 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 pew. So it's that stuff that really intrigues me and fascinates me.
Awesome.
That's great. Yeah, it's hard to get Ro to budge on the Star Wars celebrities, it seems.
But yeah, I don't know. Non-Star Wars celebrity. I don't know. I'll throw Conan in there just to kind of put it in the universe.
Hey, he likes his co-host. That's sweet.
I would love to interview him.
So, one question I did see in the chat from Vader Rapina. Shanti, did you end up getting the gnat?
I think I did. It hasn't attacked me in a while.
Cool.
So I think it's gone.
It's been the recurring theme through the episode. I'm glad we didn't leave it on a cliffhanger, because that would have been sad.
I got it, guys.
All right. You got another question, Blake?
Do I have another question? All my good ones were taken by the chat.
Well, the chat's been on fire with
Yeah.
I guess I had like slow ball questions. I don't know. If you could describe your co-host, not even describe them. If you thought they were like any character in nerd culture, comic books, movies, who do you think your co-host is most like?
That is not how I thought that question was going to go.
I opened a can of worms here.
I thought he was going to say, how would you describe your co-host in one word? That's what I thought he was going to say.
No.
This is. I think this is
like,
safer.
You can do that next.
Yeah, I think
I
this
don't know
is
if
safer.
that's safe. Is it?
Is it?
I don't know.
There's a lot of bad things that could be said.
That's why.
I don't know, because we're all nerds to some effect, and I think whoever we say is kind of going to be funny. What character of nerdom could I describe you? I don't know. That's a good question, and I really don't have a quick answer. I'd have to kind of think about it. But really, if I had to describe Shanti as a co-host, and I'm too bad Brad's not here, because I'd love to have done this with Brad too. But Shanti, we brought her in. She was really quiet and shy, but now she embarrasses us all in the chat, so it's kind of funny.
Oh, how the turntables.
I know. That's what happens when I get comfortable.
Which is great. I think,
Because I'm a very observant person, so I'm kind of standoffish at first, which people mistake for snobbishness, and that's not the case. It's more of, I need to suss you out first before I just open up willingly.
When you showed up at ScarifCon last year, you were sitting
I
in
could
your
have
corner. You're like,
killed you.
I'm like, what? She came to do what? Just
I
stare
don't
at me?
know. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody. It was weird.
No, Shanti
And then you
definitely is a
embarrassed
personality.
me. Yeah. Is that a compliment?
In a good way.
Okay. I was gonna say, is that a compliment?
A very good person. Yeah, you're very energetic in yours.
Thank you.
I like it. You
Good.
bring color and
Okay,
life
good.
to whatever
Good.
show you are on.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Last thing I ever want to be is a Debbie Downer. How would I describe Ro? You know what? I think maybe Captain America, because you're such a ringleader. You know what I mean? And the way
He's
you
first
just...
Avenger.
Yeah, like that's why. That's how I think of it, since you kind of developed Red 5 and all of this and bringing everyone together. And kind of like, the heart and soul of it all. So I think that's a fair description. Look, I complimented you.
I'm Red 5's ass.
Could have been so much worse. There you go.
There's a sound clip for you. There's a sound clip.
Use that for a
Oh my
promo.
gosh, that's right. Yeah, I know Shanti described you as Captain America. I referred to you earlier as Palpatine of the Red 5 Network, but whatever, tomato.
Exactly.
So
Don't think
Andrew,
he's
do you
evil,
have
he's
any
not.
final, any more questions?
Let's just go for a simple one here. If you can pick one ship, any ship in the Star Wars universe to be your personal ship, what are you going to choose?
I know my answer. I'll let you go first, Ro.
Again, because Darth Vader's my favorite character, I probably would have to go with the advanced TIE fighter. Although, I think one of my favorite TIE fighter variants would have to be the TIE fighter that appeared in Return of the Jedi, the TIE Interceptor. I think it is sleek. The design is gorgeous, and if we can kind of trick out that TIE Interceptor and put some rims on it, some 27-inch rims on it with some neon in there, that'd be cool, man.
Wow. Gonna put a spoiler on it?
Yeah.
You're gonna drop it?
What can I say? I'm Latino.
Welcome to the clubs. Yeah, I know that all
Gotta
too
put
well.
some pipes on it too, man.
I'll tell you guys my stories about drag racing.
So yeah. Sith Care's like, no, Ro, no.
So I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm a huge, huge lover of the Falcon. Just because so much happens on there and they spend so much time on there, like as a family. But now having watched Rebels and loving the family dynamic as much as I did of that show, I would
okay.
almost want to say that ship now.
Yeah.
The Ghost.
The Ghost, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I almost would want to go that route.
You know, that ship grew on me. I didn't like it at first because it was such an odd shape. But I think, especially in Star Wars, these ships become characters, into themselves. Obviously, the Falcon is its own.
Yep.
But yeah, because of what you mentioned, the family dynamic that happens in that ship with those characters, I think, it's something that you can call home.
I loved it. Ezra bunking with Zeb, and I just, I don't know. Again, that's why I like Star Wars, because it's all about finding your people and finding family. So I would have to say it's a tie between those two.
Yeah. Cool.
Good question.
Yeah.
Very good question. So this was fun.
All right, so
Anyway.
it was good to have you guys on our podcast, Scarif, Scuttlebutt.
Thank you very much.
We
I
worked
wanna,
very hard to get to this point.
Yeah. Danny has a cool. I totally forgot about the USS Reliant, and yes, it's the wrong franchise, but I love that ship. That's probably one of my favorite Star Trek ships, the USS Reliant. So
Yeah.
kudos to you. Love it.
She realized. That's funny.
All right, so as we wrap up here for the night, what have y'all got coming up? What's coming up on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast?
So I've been listening to a couple of old shows that we did. We dropped my conversation with Alex over at the Salty Nerd podcast about dinosaurs, and one of the things that I love when I interview people and I talk to people is the passion that comes from them. And Alex is very passionate about dinosaurs and Jurassic Park in particular. So I had a really fantastic discussion with him about dinosaurs, our earliest memories. Shanti, he loved your question about what generation dinosaur is he, Barney the dinosaur, or
Yeah.
and he's like, hate to admit, I'm from the Barney, the dinosaur generation.
The age,
But
it's the age.
it's,
It was a great episode. It was a really great
yeah.
episode.
So that one, and Amanda, we did a Star Trek discussion with Amanda, which is really great. But what was the last one with Rob? that was out last week. Lightsabers. We talked with Rob and Brad about lightsabers and how cool that is, and obviously, I picked that as my weapon. So those last 3 episodes that I've been kind of listening to, kind of on repeat, because again, just the passion of the people that I spoke with on the show, I really enjoy, and you can really tell, especially with Alex. He's, I wanted to do a dinosaur episode, and no other name came to mind as far as who to talk to. But what do we got? What do we got coming up next? I don't know. We got our 100th episode that I'm planning, and I am doing some prep work because I really do want to do an episode on UFOs and some stories. Some folks that have direct messaged me about they claiming that they saw a UFO or some lights in the sky. So that's another thing that always fascinated me.
Awesome.
Save it for the podcast. Save it for the podcast.
It looks like my other show looks like the Science Fiction Area and Scarif are going to hit 100 right about the same time.
Oh,
nice.
Cool.
Because I'm dropping episode 97 on Monday.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
I've got too much going on.
I'm nowhere close.
Because I'm going to be on now with you, Blake, after this.
That's right. That's right.
And then,
we have Dork Wars Live coming up.
And then
Shanti
tomorrow,
and DJ
and then tomorrow we'll be on with Amanda on Galaxy of Queers. I believe we're doing a Batman episode. Tuesday I will be on with Used and Abused to talk about Meatloaf, because I love Meatloaf. And then Thursday, a very special episode of Press Play, because I had to reschedule it since I wasn't feeling well. I'm finally going to be able to host an episode to talk about Batman. And we're going to have, unfortunately, Josh, Sith Care Bear, and my lovely friend Tina, who's a big supporter of Red 5. And I'm hoping that Steve will be able to make it as well. So that'll be a fun discussion.
Awesome.
Other than
Absolutely
that,
cool.
that's it.
Awesome. Well, Blake, real quick, tell everybody about your show and where to find it.
So, to find my show, we are Dork Wars, the podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Dork Wars Podcast. You can find us on Facebook. Just type in Dork Wars Podcast. We got a link tree with everything where you can find us, our socials. And that's just type Dork Wars, the podcast, link tree into Google. It's way easier, I promise. And you'll find everywhere we're at. And we're actually about to be on YouTube in a few moments, me, Shanti, and DJ. So
Awesome.
check us
Yeah,
out there.
definitely go check that out. And Ro, it's time for another mega crossover event. So we got to figure that one out.
Absolutely. I'm always gung-ho for those. They're always a lot of fun. I graduated from talking to myself, and now I want to talk to other people. So let's go.
All right. Well, you can find me over at Coruscant Radio Underground. It's crew_podcast on Twitter, CRU_podcast. And of course, you can find all of our podcasts at Red 5 Network on Twitter. There's a bio link pinned to the top, and you can find all 33 Red 5 podcasts right there, and all the links that you need to find all of the episodes. And there is absolutely, truly something for everyone there. So go check it out.
Check it out. Andrew, Blake, thank you very much for taking over the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast here on a very special Century Mode edition of Scarif Live. It was a lot of fun. It just, we've been talking for over an hour, and I know we got to go because you guys have to prep for your show. But everybody in the chat, when you guys log off, find Dork Wars and head over there and check out the fun continues Saturday night. I posted earlier on that not even Travolta has this much fun on a Saturday night. So.
Right. That's right.
Please head over there. Shanti, thank you very much. We'll connect soon because we got to do some more recording. And Brad's got some notes for something coming up. But yes, thank you very much, everybody in the chat. Love you guys. We'll see you on the Red 5 Network. Talk to you later. May the force be with you. And that is the Scuttlebutt.